when you have a president like Joe Biden who just exudes old, tired, pointless energy, it's very important to have the young viewpoint on that, because it's not an issue of disrespect. It's an issue of he doesn't understand at all what young people in this country want. And I think a lot of young people voted for him because he said he was going to forgive their student loans, and look at what happened.
Right, yeah.
He didn't do that.
Well, and that's interesting because, you've got a lot of young people who like, oh, free stuff, great. That, I'll vote for the free stuff. I'll vote for the free stuff. At what point does it actually start to register? It's like, wait a minute. Not only am I not getting that free stuff, but if I do get a little crumb, it ain't free at all.
Oh yeah, not at all. One of my favorite things to cover at Townhall is the jobs report and the inflation numbers that come out every month.
All right, this is how much of a nerd Spencer Brown is. Did you hear what he just said?
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite things to cover.
Yes, you set your alarm. They drop 8:30 a.m. Eastern time
on
the
first
Friday of the month.
Yes,
and you get the numbers that show just how much damage Democrats and Joe Biden have done to the economy. And you look at these inflationary numbers and what it's hitting, and young people are feeling a lot of this inflation more so than I think Joe Biden or Democrats probably realize.
Well, they're not getting 7% raises every time inflation goes up, but suddenly everything costs that much more.
Yeah, and so I think, pointing out stuff like that this is a direct result of these Democratic policies. You said you wanted free stuff. Well, now when you go to fill up your car to take your friends to a concert, or you go to even just pay your energy bills in your apartment as you're trying to build your career, Democrat policies have almost always hurt young people disproportionately because we don't have the savings, we don't have the stock investment, we can't afford to take the same kind of economic hit that maybe people who are more established, who have savings, who own a home. It hits young people even more.
And you think that message is starting to hit home pretty quickly? I mean,
I think to an extent
in just 13 months.
I think what's surprising Democrats is how quickly it's hitting. And you see that, I just wrote up the other day how only a third of Americans basically approve of Biden's handling of Russia, which I can't believe that it's a third that's
right. Who are those third?
But
What's wrong with you?
When you look at just overall the approval of Joe Biden, among Democrats he's sinking. Among independents, it's just gone. It evaporated in 13 months.
And most young people would rather consider themselves independent, right?
Yes.
You very rarely meet somebody in their 20s who are like, oh yes, I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat. It's like, I'm independent. I like to keep an open mind.
Well, and with sort of the squad and this woke takeover of the Democratic Party, that's made young people dislike it even more because now the establishment of Democrats is the AOCs, the Rashida Tlaibs, and everything else.
They're the man.
And young people typically, rebel against that. So it'll be interesting to see in the midterms where the age ranges fall.
Yeah, I'll say. All right, and so now that's a really, I think, important and insightful perspective, Spencer, on sort of reaching a younger audience and reaching a conservative message and conveying a conservative, not even a conservative message, but it's a non-Marxist message.
It's the truth. It's
imagine that.
The unvarnished truth that nobody else wants to tell.
But let's also pivot, if we could, in our final moments here about a message that I think resonates more with parents, because that's a big part of our readership too. You get, as managing editor of Townhall, and not just for our site, but all of our family sites, Red State and PJ Media and Hot Air across the board, you see how on fire articles and videos are that relate to critical race theory, curriculum problems, the stuff that we've seen in school boards and public school systems for the last year plus, probably. This is something you knew about from your time at Young America's Foundation and Campus Reform, right? At Campus Reform. But I don't think everybody recognized how it's filtered down to, forget about high school, like kindergarten classes.
Oh, no, it has gone. It has gone so far, and I actually...
And this is what parents are... Because I think part of the coverage that we're doing at Townhall, if I can say, has opened up so many eyes about what's really going on out there.
Absolutely, because it's not something that's happened necessarily across the board, universally and at the same speed, but it's something that's happening in enough places that people see the pattern, they realize this is coming from a level above even their school district. It's coming from these leftist organizations that are pushing this, and even I had the privilege of joining the Youngkin campaign at a few stops on their last couple days of the campaign in Virginia last November, and hearing the stories from parents who said, thank you for highlighting this finally, because again, they thought they were crazy for getting something from school and saying, well, this can't be right, I must be misreading this, and then Glenn Youngkin put this huge spotlight on it, and they realized, no, this is not, I'm not the problem, this is all these crazies are the problem. And so I even just today wrote a story in Minneapolis, the public school district, 6th and 7th graders were given tips and advice for participating in BLM protests, which often then become the BLM riots.
Of course.
And instead of telling, 11, 12, 13-year-olds, don't go to a protest that's going to turn violent, it advises them on what kind of clothing to wear to protect them from tear gas. And all this was done, of course, behind the backs of parents who didn't know about it until somebody tweeted it out and said, is anybody else getting this? It says it's coming from the Minneapolis Public Schools.
Jeez.
I'm a little concerned about it. So it's just stuff like that again, if you don't shine a light on it, people are bound to think that they're nuts.
Well, and it's shining a light, because oftentimes the most effective articles that you write or many of our writers at Townhall create and post, it doesn't even we don't even form an opinion. We just say, here it is.
Yep.
This is what's happening. We don't even have to say anything more than that. It is just shining a light on it, and it's insidious, and that's why we're doing what we're doing, and it's why we're so thankful for all of our VIP members as well, because they're trying to cancel us all the time. And the way we can continue doing what we're doing is through all the support from VIP. So make sure right now you get 40% off. It's an exclusive offer right now. Is this just for CPAC we're doing this exclusive offer? 40% off right now. If you like what Spencer's doing, if you tolerate what I'm doing, and if you really get overtaken by what Schlichter is doing, get that 40% off right now by joining Townhall as a VIP member. You get so many benefits and so much exclusive content and a great reader experience, but we need you to be able to keep doing what we're doing here before they cancel all of us. What's the code for that 40%? CPAC. That's easy.
That makes sense.
How do you spell CPAC?
Very logical there. With the code.
CPAC.
40%.